Hello and welcome in. This is your Wednesday live chat for this week's Genesis Open. It's weather, pivots, one and done, question, answer, deep dives. I don't care. This time is yours. So go ahead and drop your questions, comments, concerns in the chat. I will go through as many as possible in the next 30, 60, 90 minutes, whatever it takes to get there. Before we start, I don't think I have any announcements, but it was nice to get out to Riviera yesterday. It was nice to see the golf course. It was nice to see the boys in action. Let's just start with the weather forecast. This has become something that we do right out of the gate so that we do not have to talk about it ever again. I'll tell you what, it was very nice yesterday. It was very nice. The last couple of years, we have gotten really nasty, windy, cold mornings, especially on Pro-Am mornings. And sometimes it goes into tournament day. It was gorgeous yesterday. It was gorgeous today. It's going to be gorgeous tomorrow. It's going to be gorgeous on Friday, and it's going to be gorgeous on Saturday. It's really ideal conditions. Now, there is a little bit of a storm coming in potentially Saturday night into Sunday. We'll see if we can kind of maybe that'll wait an extra day to get out here. What I will say is this. That is the softest I've ever seen Riviera. Okay. Now, that is not to say it is unfairly soft. It does not even necessarily imply they're going to play preferred lies. It is just that usually Riviera is fast, firm, fiery. That's the way they want it. That is not the way it was yesterday. Probably not the way it's going to be for the first couple of days of this tournament, if not all days. I thought the greens were more receptive. When I was walking through fairways, you could feel the softness. I think, and there was zero wind out there yesterday, and there looks like, basically zero wind in the forecast this week, right? If that holds, very, very good scoring conditions. I think that we are going to get some pretty decent scores, especially in round one, especially in round two. We'll see where it goes from there, but it's going to be, and the course was in great shape. Don't get me wrong. It was in phenomenal shape. Everything was perfectly manicured, just softer than I would normally see. Trenton was up at 2 a.m. last night asking about, will there be any updates to the underdog best ball rankings for new contests that are only the majors? Yes. It's on my list. I hope to have it done as soon as this weekend. If you haven't seen, Best Ball released not only another season-long Best Ball that starts, I believe, at the RBC Heritage, but a Best Ball with just the majors, which I think is very fun because you are basically going to get the same guys who play those events. It introduces the live guys again. That is a very, very fun format. I hope to have those rankings up ASAP. If you want to sign up and get in there right now, start drafting. There's a link in the description. You can use my code Rick. That'll get you a deposit match as well. But what Underdog is doing is special, and we should support that. And I will do my best as well. Hi, Rick. As the week goes on, I feel more and more like Adam Scott is just going to win this thing. Any chance he loses? No, probably not. I couldn't imagine Adam Scott losing this golf tournament. You know, the reason that Adam Scott is getting the amount of looks and clicks that he's getting this week is because he is statistically the best player in this field over the last 36 rounds. Now, that is raw strokes gain data. He does have a couple of European Tour events, which, by the way, this is my website, rickrungood.com. 6 different tours, strokes gained for DP World Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, all that fun stuff. So if you're not looking at it, if you're not looking at a database with multiple tours, you're missing out on a lot of good Adam Scott stuff. And then, of course, he's won this event twice. He's played well here historically. It's a perfect storm of timing for Adam Scott right here. My current single entry build is 10K, 9K, 8K, 7, 6, 6. Am I crazy for having this much exposure to the lower tiers? No. I mean, like you said, it's a unique cut situation where the vast majority of the golfers are going to make the cut. We've seen the first 6 weeks of the year, optimal lineups are like leaving 5 or 6K on the table. That's not what I'm saying you're doing, but you can be a little bit unique. There's a lot of depth in these events. We're seeing that week in and week out. Is it course horse can't lay or recent form Justin Thomas this week? I think this is probably the toughest matchup, right? So I saw that this was a matchup earlier. I believe they were both minus 110, and I believe that this is the most difficult one to figure out. I'm going to lean Justin Thomas. I just believe that when he is at his best, he's doing exactly what he's doing right now. The elite approach play, good enough putting. soft, receptive conditions. Sure, let's go. He's probably going to hit more fairways than normal this week. And then, you look at what he's done here. I'll pull up his Genesis Invitational data. T20 and a 6th in the last 2 years. He missed the cut in 2021 and 2020, but then he had a runner-up, a 9th before that. It's pretty darn good. He's got a couple of weeks where he's putted really well. I will go with JT, but I find that to be the hardest one. Tubin says, hey, Rick, hard to quantify, but every time experts are on Morikawa, he disappoints. He'd be the easy choice if the bet was either to win or miss the cut, right? Any data on failing compared to expectation? Good question. Not off the top of my head, but what we could do is we could kind of just compare what his DFS ownership is and compare that to his results. That might not be a very good way to do it, but that's what we'll do for now. 17% owned at Pebble Beach, T14. Higher, 24%, miscut at the Farmers. He was 40% T5 at the Century, 33%. That's a smaller field. 7th at the Hero, not great. But when he won, that was at the Zozo, that was some of the lowest ownership that we have seen on him. Just kind of scrolling through and seeing if there is any trend to this, I guess. He also has some good weeks as well when he's pretty highly owned. So maybe there's a better way to calculate that, but I think we remember the bad ones a lot more than we remember the good ones. Is there an easy way to determine what tee time wave past winners we're in? Yes, but it would take me a while to pull the data. Typically, what is the ideal ratio for your player pool to total field size? It's completely up to you. There are too many factors here, like how big your contest is, what the payout structure is, what your goals are, what your risk tolerance is. So there's just too many variables there. You have to decide. If you want to have high risk, high reward results, go with a smaller field or a smaller player pool. If you want to go and spread out your money a little bit more and have some more consistent stuff or some, not lose as much of your money every single week, then maybe you should go with a bigger player pool. How high are you on JT? Already talked about this. How high are you on JT this week? We know the putter is the only thing holding him back, but sort his putting results from best to worst for 2022 to 2024. All right, I'm just going to trust you here. I'm just going to trust you and see what pops up here, Brandon. So we're going to go Justin Thomas, 2022, 2023, 2024. We are going to sort by best putting results, and apparently we are going to uncover an Easter egg. Oh, I see what Brandon is saying. So what he's saying is over the last 3 years, since the start of 2022, 2 of his best putting performances both came at Riviera. The only putting performance that was better was at Southern Hills, the PGA Championship. He won that event. Good little Easter egg, Brandon. You're hired. In best ball, who did you see being the best value picks? I kept getting Matt Wallace in the 10th round. I have a lot of Will Zalatoris in like the 6th round, which is kind of a joke. I got Kurt Kitayama. I was just looking at a contest or a league. I got Kitayama at 58 out of 60 picks. I saw Hoagie went 60 out of 60. Those are some good ones. Just outside the money in a large field, one and done. JT or Scheffler this week. Thanks for all that you do. I've got like 12 or 13 different one and dones that I need to put in. So I'm not going straight across the board, but I think generally in a vacuum, I'm going to be running out a lot of Scotty Scheffler. And this is nothing against Justin Thomas. I've been buying all the 2024 stock. I think he is going to, he might win a major this year. I'm like that high on him. But what Scotty does with the floor and the fact that this is a $4 million purse, the only purse that's going to be larger is probably the Players Championship. The Arnold Palmer Invitational and the Memorial will both be the same purse with this is bigger than regular signature events, right? It's not 3.6, it's $4 million. So I'm going Scotty because that feels like the right thing to do. And I'm not afraid to play JT at the Masters. I'm not afraid to play JT, who knows, somewhere else when we get down the road. What's up, Rick? Let's do a Tommy Fleetwood deep dive. I'm having a hard time not pivoting from JT or Adam Scott and finally grabbed a membership. Oh, cool. Welcome. So here's Tommy. And what you'll see from Tommy is very, very good. He has been well-rounded. This goes back to all year. All 2023, he was great, especially towards the end when he had the runner-up finish at the Canadian Open. That was the playoff. He lost to Nick Taylor. He had a T5 at the Wells Fargo. He had a T6 at the Scottish, T10 at the Open. He played well. He won in Dubai on the DP World Tour, had a runner-up at the DP World. I mean, this is great stuff. It's really, really good stuff. Let's see what his Genesis results are. T20, T28, T37. Feels a lot like Tommy Fleetwood. Yeah, I like this. I am assuming, and I don't have to assume, I could probably just look this up. This 2023 was like the best year of Tommy Fleetwood's career, statistically. And he seems to have continued that, winning in January in Dubai, and no reason to think that that's not going to continue. Thoughts on any of the following for a solid week? Hostler, Denny, Grillo, Henley, Hoagie, Monty. Probably out of that group, I like Hoagie the best. There's a real value in being an elite ball striker, and Hoagie has been that guy. I mean, 3, 3, 3, 1, 3. Like he gains a ton on approach. And also look what he's done with the putter in the last 4. I'm not sure this is the greatest spot in the world for him. What I will say is that statistically, and he finished 14th here last year. He putted the lights out here. He's gained 5 or more strokes putting here twice in his career. There's a lot of things obviously that are different between TPC Scottsdale and the Riviera Country Club. But one of the things that is very, very similar is that they have almost identical approach shot proximity buckets. How many shots come from inside 100 yards? How many come from what? And that's a really good profile for Tom Hoagie. So guys that you liked based on that fact last week are guys that you should also probably like again this week. Now, different grasses. There's Kikuyu rough. There's a lot of different things, but that is something to consider. Is this a tournament that demands course history, or do you feel this is a safe place to deploy some of the guys who have never played Riv? I think that it is I do think it helps to have a little bit, but I do think that the nature of it, the shots that it asks you to hit, especially normally in firm, fast conditions, Riviera does a really good job of separating great tee to green players from everybody else. And I think that is more important than lack of course history. Is lack of course history worth a half a shot around? Maybe. I don't know. But is Ludwig's tee to green play worth 1 shot per round, 1.2 per round? The answer is yes, right? It's worth 1 stroke per round. I'm trying to think who else did you say here? Eric Cole. Eric Cole's tee to green play is worth 1.1 per round, right? Højgaard's, great driver of the golf ball. It was cool yesterday. I might've gotten a picture of it. I don't know if I sent it anywhere, but three guys in a row on the range. It was Nikolai Højgaard left, Rory McIlroy middle, Ludwig Oberg right, and these dudes were hitting drivers, and it is just disgusting. It is truly, truly disgusting. Can you have a look at Mac Hughes off the tee and around the green? That is a very specific question. I don't mind specific questions because I know exactly where to look for all of those. So let's see someone else in the Slack. So Rick Rungood, I never talk about this. I should probably say it more. We have a Slack channel, right? So there was a conversation in there about Mac Hughes. I cannot remember what the consensus was. He's missed 3 out of 5 cuts here. He finished T50 last year. Off the tee, he is generally a loser, has a couple of decent weeks, but generally loses. The places that he does best are like Mac Hughes courses, RSM Classic, maybe even Byron Nelson to an extent. Very good around the greens. Very, very good around the greens. Did you just yawn? Sorry. Oh my God, I'm boring her to death. I think it's nuts. I think I have the nuts to play Scott one and done. Yeah. So that's kind of the joke that's been going. Like, I like Adam Scott so much, but do I have the cojones to run him out in one and done? $4 million for first. I will in some, but like I said, it's kind of Scotty's my 1. Adam Scott's probably going to be my 2, and I'll kind of spread out some other guys, but Sam Burns, I'll go back to Sam Burns in some spots, but seems like a good week for him. Favorite part of the week? Sweet. One and done. Have to pick 2. Wyndham, Cam Young, Adam Scott, Scotty, Morikawa, Burns, Ludwig, Sahith. Says, love the show. The show helped me get first my one and done last year. Appreciate it. Okay. what I would do is I would go Scotty, obviously, and then probably in this order, Adam Scott, Sam Burns, Cam Young. I will save Ludwig. I will save Morikawa and Sahith and Wyndham Clark. But that's what I would do. Can we do a deep dive on Hideki? He seems really low at $7,400. Sure. Let's get after it. Here's Hideki's stat profile. Lost off the tee, end on approach last week in Phoenix, which is a place that he crushes. The short game is always, I mean, because Hideki stinks at putting, people don't realize how good of a wedge player he is around the greens. He's so good. So his around the green numbers are dark green and his putting numbers are dark red, which, people generally lump those together. The problem that I'm having a little bit here with Hideki is, he's lost strokes ball striking in 2 out of 5. One of them, he was a 0. The putter, which he had made some gains with in 2023, seems to have cooled off a little bit. I love the upside, but I'm not super insulted about how low he is in this caliber of field. The newsletter puns were elite this week. Thank you. Yeah, go sign up for my newsletter. It's 100% free. You get a bunch of really corny puns and golf data nuggets along the way. And I list out everything that you need to know every single week. And I try to deliver it to your email at 6:02 a.m. on Tuesdays. That's the dirty little secret. Okay. Cam Young. I have been off Cam Young for a long time and it has worked out beautifully. I'm ready to be back. Okay. I've seen enough. I'm calling the race. I've seen enough. Remember when Ricky slumped? Lost his best weapon, putter. When Justin Thomas slumped, lost his best weapon, the approach play. When Cam Young slumped, he never lost his weapon. Great sign. Drives it better than most guys on the PGA Tour. We're starting to see the rest of his game come back together. Contended, should have won in Dubai. Gained 1 billion strokes ball striking there, 12 to be exact. T8 in Phoenix, which again, another good golf course that separates tee to green play. I'm ready for Cam Young. He's finished second here. He's finished 20th here in 2 starts. This is the time to get in. Greg says, good afternoon, Rick. Who's the producer's play of the week? And happy Valentine's Day to Run Good Nation. Yeah, sure. Happy Valentine's Day to all you lovers out there. Hopefully Cupid got you in the butt. Who's your pick, please? She said Adam Hadwin. And the reasoning? Vibes. Quote, vibes, end quote. Who would you take if you had 2 spots left in a prize money pool between Seabez, Tom Hoagie, Taylor Moore, Harris English? Okay, Hoagie is one of them. I already know what Bez's stat profile looks like, and it's better than you probably think. I want to look at Harris English's because I bet you his is a lot better than I think it is, or at least I know he's been in contention as of late. Sony was great. Century was great. Phoenix was great. Little lackluster at Pebble. You can give a lot of guys a pass for that. The course rotation, the weather, the event was shortened, and he did play better in round 3. And he did not play particularly well at Farmers. Again, course rotation. I'm not sure that's a great spot for him. I can write off most of those. That's pretty good. I think I'd probably still go with Christian Bezuidenhout here. He is really playing well. And he is no longer just reliant on the putter. Look at his approach numbers, right? So this is the bizarro Tom Hoagie. Hoagie, great approach, finds the putter. Bez, great putter, finds the approach. Still can't drive it that well, but results are following. Results are coming in. Again, 3 good results on the European Tour. If you're not looking at those, you're a dum-dum. Go to rickrungood.com and sign up. See, this is what I do. I love all the comments. Mark, you got to at least pose a question. One and done projected ownership sounds like you're just yelling at me what to do. And I ask Armina, I do not respond well to that being told what to do. So we're going to skip that. A question mark would be good. We'll come back to it, but we cannot reward Mark for that. My one and done opponent head-to-head is taking Scotty. Who would you recommend to be the best 4 or 5 guys against him this weekend? You're in a really unique situation. You should be using the Pool Genius tool that I consulted on. So this lets you put in how many people you're playing against. So it knows what your risk tolerances need to be. It knows like who you've already selected because you've put that in there. So for example, just to show you, I'm obviously this entry here. There's over 1,000. There's over 1,000 people in it. Top 150 get paid. It knows all that information. It gives me my short list based on who I've already used as Rory, Victor, Morikawa. I'd be interested, David, to see what yours says because you're only going up against one other person. I imagine Cantlay is going to get a pretty big score for you. I think Rory might even get a bigger score for you. I'd be interested to see what this tool says for you because it is so unique and custom. You can sign up with the link in the description. I believe you get a week trial and then you have to pay for it. But honestly, it's not very expensive. I consulted on it. I know these guys. I can vouch for the, how good this product is. So if I were you, David, I would sign up for this, but I think I'd probably go Cantlay would be my gut. I want to save Rory a little bit longer, and I'd probably go Cantlay here. Can we get a head-to-head between Svensson and Taylor Moore? Sure. So what Mark is getting at here, different Mark, not the one that upset me earlier, is this tool on rickrungood.com, the head-to-head matchup tool. And you can plug in any number of rounds and any two golfers, and it looks at a variety of different things and shows you what the odds should be. So here's Adam Svensson versus Taylor Moore. I'm going to use the last 36 rounds. Mark, if you want to use something different, head over to this page and have at it. I've got Svensson winning this 68% of the time, which is pretty significant in something like this. He gains more than Taylor Moore in basically every single category, every single distribution. This is a Svensson side. Would you take Tiger -110 to make the cut this week? So a couple of items. The cut is very strange this week, API and the Memorial. It is top 50 and ties. There's only 70 guys in the field. And then anyone within 10 shots, which is the Masters rule, right? So that means if everyone is within 10 shots, everyone makes the cut. Doesn't matter what position they're in. So I think it's going to be kind of hard to miss the cut. I watched Tiger play the back nine yesterday. It was fine. It was fine. It's always hard to tell on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I think he's driving it. I think he hits the hell out of it with the driver. It was a little wayward at times. Yanked it left into a bad spot on 18 with his first one. He hit a second one that was much better. He on the one before the par 3, which would be like 13. He hit 3-wood into the trees on the left. Then he hit a much better drive. So he is he's putting himself in some difficult spots. I thought the distance control was very good with his irons and wedges. And I also thought that the receptive greens would help him a lot. The final thing is I thought his speed on the greens was a little off. He seemed to be running a lot of putts 4-5 feet past, especially downhill putts. Take that for what it's worth. It's a Tuesday practice round. He was not putting a lot of effort into it. He only a couple times hit multiple shots. I think he's conserving energy is my guess. I think he makes the cut. It's a very, very easy cut. Mike says, longtime user of the site. However, I just started building models for the first time this week. Any tips? Is it bad to use too many data points? I've had some feedback that I use too many. Here's the custom model, but they're all just so much fun, right? I don't have a problem with you using a lot. I think where people get into trouble is using too many that correlate to one another, right? It's like doing approach and then tee to green and then also off the tee. It's like, well, okay, you're doubling up on a lot of these things. So I like the strokes gain distribution a lot. What's a player's floor? What's their ceiling? How often are they going to gain strokes? I like to look at course history. I like to look a little bit at, scoring conditions or things like, so I don't think there's too many that you can use. I would just be worried, just be careful about double and triple counting because that happens quite a lot. Hey, Rick, good call last week with Burns for my one and done. Cheers. Let's run this back. One and done between Xander, Morikawa, and Oberg. That's probably Xander for me. I want to see more from Colin, a little bit more. I want to see, and I think Ludwig, my God, you're going to be able to play him anywhere. So I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go Xander here. Higher finish, Day, Keegan, Poston, Højgaard. I think it's Højgaard. He's great. He's really great. I'll show you his stat profile. And he's just such a good driver. I don't think people realize how good the stats are for Nikolai. Pull it up here. And now the results are coming in. I mean, look at this, right? He goes second at the Nedbank. He wins the DP World Tour Championship. He finishes second at the Farmers and seventh at Dubai. That's all since November. And just ball strikes the heck out of it. It's why last year when he made the Ryder Cup team, I bought like a ton of Nikolai Højgaard signed and numbered cards just because I thought there's one way to go from here. It's up and to the right. Rick, incredible content as always. Thank you. I'd love to hear you rip someone, something, anything, perhaps the Vegas Live event. Maybe you could have a Rick Rude rant once a month or a quarter. Yeah, maybe. There's only a couple things that really get under my skin, but when they're under there, they're hard to get rid of. So he also says, I'll be at Riviera on Friday, ready to buy you an adult drink. I appreciate that. So I will definitely be there Saturday. I'm going to be at the Travis Matthew tour bus. Going to hang there. You should stop by. Usually, well, I haven't confirmed this for this year, but the last couple of years, they give out at that tour bus. It's a unique LA and Travis Matthew collab. So one year it was the Dodgers logo, like LA, but it was TM. It's sick. I wear it all the time. Then last year they had a TM logo with like an LA skyline, which you can only get there. And they're giving it away. You don't have to talk to anybody. You walk past the tour bus. They have bags of them. They're handing them out. And it's the only place you can get them. So I'm interested to see what the collab is this year. I'll be there. I'm stoked for that. So I'll definitely be there Saturday. Friday's up in the air at the moment. The issue is because it's a CBS event and because Tiger is playing, they want me to do streaming hits every second of every day. So trying to be at Riviera and also do hits from the studio, tough to do. Hey, Rick, do you know of any source about caddy equipment changes? Yada, yada, yada. Jonathan Wall does a great job with equipment. Injuries are a little bit harder because those guys don't necessarily have to disclose them. The caddy stuff, the guys that are at the caddy, I think it's called the Caddy Network, John Rathaus, a lot of times he'll post the pairings and point out, hey, so-and-so is now on this guy's bag. I want to get that information in my database, quite honestly. And I want to have something more automated than having to rely on somebody who, has to send it every week. Is there a way to tell when the projected ownership is last updated? No, but I can tell you that it was updated about an hour ago. I should probably put that on the site somewhere. It usually updates. So the cadence is usually like Monday night, maybe a couple times on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, Wednesday evening, something like that. Rick, name your top three posters, top three favorite posters of your Slack channel. D. McBrickster, TJ from Slack, and maybe Maddie Dukes. Hannah always posts good stuff. The Mush God, Larry Spaz. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. It's like trying to pick my favorite kid. Do you think there's any optimal strategy for DFS in these events with limited to no cut? Probably, but I don't know off the top of my head. If I said it, I'd probably be lying to you. Answered a couple of these, which is good. We're already getting back to questions I've already answered. What irons are you recommending to someone who is jumping back into playing after a long time? Something very forgiving, something cavity back based. Your main, I'm sure any of your main lines at TaylorMade or Callaway. I mean, I don't know if they still make those Callaway Apex irons. Whatever that is now would be fine. You also probably can get a couple generations old and not notice a difference. I play Mizuno irons. I love the way they feel. I'm not sure what their like cavity back situation. Mine are a little They look more bladey than they actually are, but I love them. And they're very, very hot. They're not super forgiving, however. Hey, Rick, any chance you can start each live week off with a weather update? I think that's what we do. At least I've been trying to do that. Who is one player in the field whose short game is going to keep them in contention? Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas's short game is better. Like, he never gets talked about. There were a lot of questions about Victor. I saw him. I spoke to him yesterday. I'm not going to tell you exactly what was said because that would be rude. And I'm just not going to do it. But I will just tell you what I saw and what I see in his stats and what anybody at the range could see. His stats are not good, right? Last three starts, he's losing strokes on approach. It is clear that he is working on something. It is clear that he's doing a lot of videoing his swing and trying to get his body in the correct position. And he's working very hard. The ball looks like it's coming off his club great. Now, he's never really satisfied with that. That's about as far as I'd like to go on it, but he's working on something on the range. I will say his wrist was not taped, which, if you remember a couple weeks ago, maybe it was at Pebble. He had his wrist taped, but it was not taped yesterday. Anybody could have seen that on the range. So that's what I'll say. Who is a good first round leader pick? Yeah. Okay. So I will answer that question. I got a little freaky this week. Okay. I saw a lot of wagers and I made a lot of wagers. So someone is going to ask, Rick, what's your card for this week? And I'm going to say, don't bet what I bet whatever you want to bet, but I will tell you. And then I'll also tell you that I put a couple of first round leaders in. So I made let me see if I can find it here. I have a Nikolai Højgaard 50-1 first round leader. I have a Cameron Young 45-1 first round leader. I have 5 outrights, which is a lot. The most I've had all year. They are Sam Burns at 22. Adam Scott at 35. What a world. Will Zalatoris at 60 because that's a joke. Kurt Kitayama at 90. Tom Hoagie at 150. So I went back to Kitayama. I went back to Hoagie. I went back to Burns. Right? Actually, no, I don't think I bet Burns last week. I played him in a lot of one and dones. Don't go spend your own money. Go do whatever you want. Real quick, while I have everybody here, the Splash contest, which is the contest in which you pick one golfer from 6 tiers, is fully guaranteed again this week. It's a $20 entry. There's going to be overlay in it, right? We're halfway full right now. You should probably go get in that because there's going to be overlay. You make one selection from each one of 6 tiers and you rock and roll. Okay. Also, I'm working on getting some more in-season one and done set up on Splash. I met with those guys in Vegas last week and they're very, very bullish on golf. I'm very, very bullish on golf, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing this. And they want to support. So, we support Underdog. We support Splash. We support Pool Genius because they're doing good things in the industry. And I think it's good if we do that stuff. So links in the description there. If you want to go sign up and get in, I think it'd be very, very good. This is on my list. Austin, is there any way to add course history and course stickiness that could be added as a stat? That's coming. Could you build a really, really weird model for fun? Sure. Okay. Let's do a really weird model. Let's do strokes gained putting last 12 for 20. Let's do easy courses for 15. Let's do where's fairways gained for 20. Putting on POA for 20. Bonus putting 10. I double counted. Bonus putting is a fun one. Strokes gained par 4s for 15. Number 1 golfer, Ludwig. Number 2, Danny McCarthy. Weird enough? Xander, 3. Adam Hadwin, Mina's pick, 4. Andrew Putnam, 5. Burns is 6. Sungjae, 7. Is this weird enough? Montgomery is 9. Hostler's 10. I think that qualifies, Mike. Answer this. Sean says Cantlay or Morikawa. I would go Cantlay. Hey, Rick, can you give me some ways to find guys that prefer to draw the ball? Long story short, this is starting to get into the PGA Tour API. Like, they don't track every shot shape, but they're doing it a lot more. So as that data continues to filter in, I'll continue to filter it in to you. Rick, I'm already behind in my one and done. It's like 4 weeks in, 6 weeks in. Need a degenerate play. Croc. Okay, hang tight for a second. This is at most week 7. And you have got like 30 weeks to go. And you have 4 major championships and a bunch of signature events left. I am certain you do not need to be saved. But I think Adam Scott or Sam Burns would be really... Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll go back to Mark's question. Mark.
Oh my God.
We'll just look at the ownership, okay? So the projected ownership has Max Homa and Colin Morikawa as the 2 highest owned golfers in one and done this week. Cantlay 11%, Scotty Scheffler 8%, JT at 7.5%. So if you went with a 5.5% Sam Burns or a 6.5% Adam Scott, I think you'd be pretty happy about that. If you want to get really freaky, a 2% Jordan Spieth would be quite freaky. Or if you want to be really early and you are a believer, Will Zalatoris is less than 1%. Will Zalatoris is barely edging out Tiger Woods for one and done selections this week. He's back. Sam says, afternoon, Rick, thoughts and deep dive on Fitz this week. I hate that I saw Fitzpatrick this week because I love him. I've never spoken to him. I love his prep. Every time I see him, he's doing good prep. He's doing good practice. He is doing it like in a very committed, intentional way. And when I see that, I get seduced by it. I don't love what he did at Sony. I don't love what he did at Pebble Beach. I like a lot more what he did in Phoenix, but I don't like that he lost 2 strokes on approach over the final 2 rounds. But we're starting to get the all-around game again. I'll look up his Riv stuff. I'm not sure how often he's played here. Missed the cut last year, T5 in 2021, T30 in 2020. So it's a lot of different things over a couple of years. I am like a 7 out of 10 on Matt Fitzpatrick. I absolutely hate that I saw him this week. Any info on who's going to play Mexico next week? Finau and me? Maybe? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot of guys. We'll find out Friday at 5. So, Philip asked about the stats for this week. So I did make updates to the course key stats model. I added a couple new things like off the tee penalties and approach buckets and putting boost and just like a lot of cool stuff now. So approach play is always very highly correlated compared to other courses around the green is very highly correlated. I am going to have to cough here. Excuse me. Apologies. So here's what I want. I want a well-rounded golfer from tee to green who's got a good, who's good enough around the green, who is long. Is it too early to pull the trigger on Scotty if you are in the bottom of your one and done? No, have at it. No, everyone is looking forward, but was curious if we learned anything from last week. So what I try to do is, I don't know if I have a great. So what I try to do in my newsletter is I try to put a couple nuggets out there from the week before and a couple of nuggets for the week ahead. Again, the optimal lineup last week was $47,600. So we have seen multiple thousands of dollars be left on the table basically every single week to be the optimal lineup. We saw another long shot win. We saw that Charlie Hoffman played good enough to win and didn't get one, gaining 16 strokes to the field. We saw that now Nick Taylor has 2 wins in his last 15 starts, twice as many as Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, et cetera, et cetera. Armina was the only one. This came up in the chat. Armina in our one and done that's hosted on Splash. Armina finally got Nick Taylor right, and she was the only person who picked him last week. He got 1.5 million for her. 1.5 million. She is not letting me forget it. If you had to sit one player, who would it be and why? Oh my God. Hovland, Ludwig, Clark, Højgaard, Cole, Hostler. It's not Hovland. It's not Ludwig. It's not Højgaard. It's probably not Clark, which means it's probably Cole or Hostler. I like Bo a lot, and I think that he's very much underrated, but Cole is possibly cooling, but is still in a different, he's really good. He's really good. So I guess I would sit Hostler. Who is someone that you're willing to eat the chalk on? Yeah, we haven't even talked about like projected ownership yet. So below 9K, who am I willing to eat the chalk on? So my options are like Burns, Adam Scott, Kurt Kitayama, Hideki a little bit. Burns, I'm a believer, right? I think he's now got 3 really good finishes in a row. I watched everything that he did on the weekend. He finished T3, and on Sunday, when he shot a 64, I think it was tied for round of the day, he missed a 9-footer, he missed a 7-footer, he missed a 10-footer, he missed like a 14-foot. I mean, it could have been really, really low. He could have stole that thing. He was hitting it so good. And now he goes to a place that I think sets up well for him. How disrespectful is Sam Ryder's price on DraftKings? Yeah, he's the mid price, right? Or $6,100. So it's pretty disrespectful. I know in this field of signature events, somebody's got to be, but Sam's has a couple of missed cuts recently, but they're good missed cuts. And they're just kind of at weird events where the metrics are still pretty good. I don't know why he is so cheap. Middle of the pack right now. In one and done. Scotty at 9, Cam Young at 4.5, Fleetwood at 1. Scotty at 9. Will you be playing or betting Tiger? Not playing him. I will look at the props later. I will probably take I saw his greens in regulation prop. We'll get to underdog in a second, but I saw his greens in regulation prop, and I was kind of interested in that after I saw how soft everything was yesterday. Hey, Rick, between JT and Adam Scott for one and done, leading Scott because I'm thinking JT is more viable. Yeah, that's fair. Can you deep dive Adam Svensson? Kind of got to Svensson a little bit earlier. Let's see here. Let's get some. Rick, what are some of your favorite top 10 or top 20 bets this week? So usually for those, I go farther down the board. So I don't have the odds in front of me, but like Hoagie or Kitayama, guys that I've also bet at outright ridiculously long numbers, I'd be interested in. I think Nick Taylor's kind of interesting again, right? There's no really, he did one presser yesterday. Excuse me. One presser yesterday, and like no one cares because it's just Tiger Week. I think would be interesting. I've been a member of your site for years, but took the fall off, so was out of the loop. Can I ask what happened to Andy? Yeah, he's no longer with the site. Is there a way to don't ask the same question twice because I'm always. Sometimes they delete the first one. Oh, okay. Is there any way you could add the ball striking category to the Holy Grail? It's not there. Oh, to the stats page. I'll tell you why that's not there, Phil, is because ball striking. So the stats page is technically PGA Tour official stats. Strokes gained ball striking is not an official stat. That's one the industry has made up. Same with short game as well. That's not a real stat. The PGA Tour only does off the tee approach, around the green putting, tee to green, and total. So I can't add it there. Sorry. How was the live experience in Vegas? It was fine. It was golf-wise, like a lot of events on a Thursday morning, there wasn't a lot of people there. It was clearly much more oriented for families and children. You know, they've got a lot of other things to do. Magicians, the Golden Knights mascot and cheerleaders were there. You can play mini golf, night mini golf. You can see the juggler. You can get your face painted. You can, you know, it's just like a lot of that stuff. I mean, if we had kids and we went, I think that would be quite enjoyable. I liked it. Armina liked it. Golf wise, it was very, very similar, right? It was just like, saw some good shots, saw some bad shots. It did take me a little bit of time to, actually Armina had to show me this, because they do a shotgun start. It's like hard. It was hard to tell how many holes each one of them had played, because it was, you know, on the scoreboard, it says he's 2 under through, and then it'll be like 8, 2 under through 13, but it just started like 5 seconds ago. And then at the very, very top, it says how many holes they have to play. So it's like, I don't know. It was a little bit interesting. Very similar. It's, you know, it was nice to see John Rahm again. It was nice to see Bryson again. DJ, winner, chicken dinner. Who do you like as a potential long shot? Hoagie and what's his face? Kitayama. Tom Kim deep dive. Okay. We haven't done the Tom Kim deep dive in a while. Very bullish on Tom Kim in Hawaii. He's been fine. 5.4 strokes gained on approach in Phoenix with 3 big gains over the final 3 rounds. Good putting week there. The kind of the secret with Tom Kim is he's got to strike it well and he's got to putt well. Like, just end of story. And if he doesn't do one of those, he's not going to contend. And usually he does do those. So I think we're still pretty bullish. I worry a little bit about distance, especially because I think the course is going to play a hair longer this year. And it's already a course that truly correlates well to long drivers or longer drivers. I do wonder if they will get lift clean in place. I don't think it's necessary. I was out there. I saw a lot of balls land in the fairway. I don't think it's necessary, but it's possible. Love last week's impromptu live chat from the road. Yeah, I mean, listen, we have a bag. It's got my laptop. It's got all the equipment. It's got a backup. We have this backup router that can connect to like satellite. So like if the Wi-Fi at the hotel is not very good, we can like try to get in that way. We've got like a system in place, all of our cords, all of our stuff. I do need an extra monitor. That's a different conversation, but yeah, I like to do it on the road. Was curious about your take on contest management. I've been leaning into the qualifiers to get into the bigger contests. I don't play a lot of the qualifiers. I've from what I remember, you've basically got to win it, right? Very high risk, high reward. I don't necessarily care about that. I actually go towards the smaller, like the, I like the $100 and $200, not even like the regular long drive or driver, like the second one that they released, which is like half the size of that. What does Rick Run Good mean? It means things go my way. Very, very lucky. Do you think Tiger's ownership will be obscenely high, even though he probably won't do well? Right now, rickrungood.com projecting how much is he? 60, 5.6% ownership on Tiger. So no, I don't think it's going to be obscenely high. The other thing is there's so many good guys in this field, right? Sorry, got a little tickle in my throat there. Okay, where was I? I can't get Ludwig out of my head. Welcome to the club. We're going to pick on Rick. Okay, yes. If you've been following along the pick on Rick movement, it is working beautifully. All right. Ricky Fowler, statistically, because I love the guy, he's always been great to me, is lost. The putter, gone. It's infiltrating the rest of his game. It is not remotely close right now. This is about as bad of a stat profile you can get. We've been picking on Rick. It's been working. What types of players benefit most from softer conditions? If they play preferred lies, it's accurate golfers and great approach players. If it's not, or even if it kind of is, longer guys. The course is going to play longer. You have to fly it a little bit more. This is not firm, fast Riviera where Joaquin Niemann hits a low booming draw that runs out 30 yards. That's not happening, at least the first couple of days. I do not think he was averaging 342. That would be a lot at sea level at Riviera, but I don't know. I mean, that number is very specific. I did not see him hit 342 yards yesterday. Okay. There were like 4 underdog questions and prop questions that I skipped to lump them all together. So Donnie says, would you mind giving your 3 favorite golfer props on underdog for tomorrow? Which is very specific, Donnie. I will talk through those because right now we are going to enter the underdog portion of the show. Week. All right. So I did tweet out yesterday some selections. So if you go through my Twitter account, you can see those. I will say, after being at Riviera, I think that I am going to look at some of the more receptive stats. So we're talking about fairways hit. We're talking about greens in regulation. So average fairways hit last year, I believe, was 7.1. I think greens in regulation was like 10.3, something like that. So they kind of have Tiger's fairways hit and greens in regulation at about field average for last year. I would lean higher 10.5 greens in regulation. And I know yesterday I tweeted out, but like, I'm going to take that loss with you because I think yesterday I tweeted out the opposite of that. I'm going to take that loss with you. If you want it, I mean, it's probably a good line. So it's probably 50-50 anyway, especially now that I saw how receptive those greens are. So things like that, right? There was a couple of other ones here, which were, Russell Henley, higher than 11.5 greens in regulation is kind of easy. I don't want to say that because a lot of things can go wrong. All the guy does is crush greens. Okay. Brian Harman, 9 fairways. I'll take higher there, especially because there's spots where you don't have to necessarily hit driver if you're Brian Harman. The other thing, and I just tweeted this out a little bit ago, where the biggest edges are right here on the rivals. Okay. So what I did is they're head-to-head matchups for round 1. So I cross-referenced all of these matchups that are available. And there are ones where guys are pretty significant favorites. Chris Kirk over Tom Hoagie. Chris Kirk is minus 120 in this matchup to Tom Hoagie's plus 100. And you are getting that treated as even money on underdog, right? So that's one of them. Actually, Hovland over Burns. Where's Hovland over Burns? Hovland is minus 125. Cantlay over JT is minus 115. Jordan Spieth over Ludwig is minus 115. And Højgaard over Hostler is minus 115 to minus 105. So these are 5 guys that are favorites. And you're getting them at, quote, even money. The other thing is, so this 20x payout is basically the same payout you would get if you parlayed these at a book, which that's not the business model, right? You're not supposed to get that. That's not necessarily the business model. And if you don't have access to books, like this is kind of a different way to do it. So I would look at that. Good luck. Use the link in the description. Use the promo code Rick. If you sign up through me, you get a deposit match, and I get to continue to fulfill my partnership with Underdog that we entered earlier this year. I can continue to advocate for support on new projects and games like we've been getting this year with Best Ball and all the new options for props. So like we've got to feed the beast here. We've got to feed the machine. All right, let's keep rolling. Is there anywhere on your site to see career outright top 5, top 10, top 20 percentages? No, but I can add that. This is a super chat, which is never required. Much appreciated. Maddie says, does the stickiness of the course history at Riviera turn you off from playing golfers from playing their debut here? No, it doesn't. This kind of came up earlier. I said, I believe that the tee to green, the way that you can separate yourself from tee to green is more valuable than the, what's it called? Course history. Seem to recall last year you bet Rahm here after being impressed with his Waste Management Phoenix performance. Is Scotty, first off, that was correct. So standing on 18 green while he won was great. Is Scotty fitting the mold for this year? Scotty's hard. I did not bet Scotty this week, but I'm going to use him in a lot of one and dones. So there's going to be some level of investment there, and I will be rewarded for a win. That to me is the best way to run him out, because I do like other one and done, or I do like other betting numbers as well. And, you know, if we look this up, I would imagine Scotty is not as a prolific winner as Jon Rahm is. If we just look at OWGR, how many wins versus how many events he's played, I bet you Rahm's at like 8, 9, 10%. I bet you Scotty's at 6 or 7. I don't know. That might not be fair, but yeah, Scotty's going to be great this week. Can you explain the cut again? What does within 10 strokes mean? Anybody within 10 strokes. So if the leader is off the lead, so if the leader's at -10, anybody from even par and better makes the cut, even if it's everybody in the field. So if everybody in the field is only separated by 5 shots, everybody makes the cut. JT made a hole in one today. Must fade now. That's funny. Okay. Let's see. I was at Bay Hill when Kitayama won there. He had that same look Sunday. Shh. Don't spoil the secret too late. Answered a lot of questions about Bezaden. Okay, here's one that did pop up a couple of times. How about Max Homa? Right? I have not been. It's not that I'm not high on Max for this week. I just thought there were better options. You know, the ball striking numbers at Pebble weren't good. The ball striking numbers in Phoenix weren't good. I realize what his history is here. I realize how important it is to him here. But when I compare this to guys of his ilk or his price, Cantlay, Burns, whatever, I got to start splitting hairs. And this is a hair that gets split in a different direction. I'm in a one and done with my homie. I think I already answered that, David.
Hey, can I give a programming
note? Armina's going to give a programming note.
Well, I want you to say it.
Okay.
Tell them to add the website, the email address that the newsletter comes from to their address book, because it's going to be spam or promotional or whatever.
All right. Yeah. So we ran into an issue this week, and I don't know why it changed, but we noticed that our email newsletter was going, instead of going to the primary inbox on Gmail, did go into some people's promotions. Not everybody, but it did. And I can see that in the metrics as well. So what you should do, which would help me, would help you, would help everybody, is to take the email address that comes from, which I can pull up here in a second, and add that to your address book on Gmail or wherever you get your. It's Rick Rungood at mail.beehive, beehiiv.com. Add that to your address book, and it should hopefully then go into your thing. Okay. Thank you very much. That is a good, let me get my email out of here before people start reading my email. That is a good note. Where was I? Answered that. Can you run a projection, a model, with course experience, strokes gained approach, bogey avoidance, strokes gained says drive. Oh, with CA experience. Oh, and strokes gained around the green. So I don't have a California experience. What I could, so how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So what I can do though is reset these weights. We can do it a little bit differently. So let's do course history, which would be, so let's put 20 on course history on Riv. And then I can put like a couple on other California courses. So real quick, let's do, I got to do these off the top of my head. Torrey, Silverado. No. Renaissance, no. PGA West Stadium, Pebble. No. Innisbrook, Kapalua, Harbortown, Grand Reserve, Eastlake. Okay, that might be all of them. Congaree, Country Club of Jackson. Okay, so I should have all of those. Then we will do bogey avoidance, which is under scoring, 20. Strokes gained off the tee for 20. Strokes gained approach. Oh, and around the green. So I do need to split these up a little bit. So let's do 15 there, 15 on our approach, and 10 around the green. This model courtesy of Aaron Rasmus, Justin Thomas, number 1, Scotty Scheffler, number 2, Colin, 3, Victor, 4, Fleetwood, Cantlay, Rory, Xander, Svensson, Scott. Round out the top 10. Good luck. This is coming back, Daniel. So it says, does the golfer profile tool still show putting by green type? The answer is no. You can do that on the Holy Grail, but I found out a lot of people love it on the golfer profile. So it's actually going to come back, and it's going to be right here on the left between the strokes gained radar chart and the trends. We did it. Harris English. We did. So it says, follow up on Adam Scott. Is there a good spot we could feel equally confident about later in the season? Honda, if he's going to play that, or the Cognizant. I mean, if he continues to play this well, the problem is I'd want to play him at TPC Sawgrass, and that's even a bigger purse. And if I don't have the cojones to play him here, I definitely don't have the cojones to play him there. Unless he wins. What if he wins this week? What if he wins before then? Oh, God, I'll be in a pickle. Sticky pickle. I've been saying, so it says, should I get my JT Masters bet in now before he wins this week? I've been saying Justin Thomas is going to win the Masters. I mean, it's easy to pat myself on the back now before the event happens for like 5 months. Not for 5 months, since the Wyndham. Recent form. Hey, Rick, not sure if this is possible, but I think it'd be cool if you had a trending or hot indicator for what golfer profiles are being looked at most. That's kind of sick. Like if up here next to Max Homa's name, it had a little flame, or even on like the main page here, right? If I had a little flame or something. Wow, that'd be kind of sick. Entered the splash one and done that starts this week. Would you go Scotty right off the bat? Yes. I do not work with Victor. Curious when you started working with Victor. He's just a friend. Okay, here's the deeper dive on Will Zalatoris, which I did probably on Monday. But if you weren't watching on Monday, shame. And you get one now. This is a golfer who is back to being himself, doing things elitely, if that's a word, knocking the rust off, playing well at courses that set up well for him, and now goes to Riv. I'm ready, baby. I think Will's ready to rock. Can Cantlay actually win? Yes. Valentine's date night not going so great, but I'm pumped. It's pronounced Genesis when used as a plural. There was like 3 questions in a row about Adam Schenk. Let's see what the old Shankster's up to. T17 in Phoenix, pretty good. T47 at Pebble. T25 at the Farmers. Bunch of top 25s. We are missing out. What I liked from Shank was when he was doing missed cut, runner up, 7th, missed cut, 7th, 4th. I would much prefer that than finishing top 20, than finishing 25th every week. Right? It's just like everybody finished. It's just, he's got a bad record here. He's too consistent. I know that's weird to say. I want him to get back to the other version. Lots of questions I've already answered. If you make your one and done pick and that player withdraws, can you change your pick? It is entirely dependent on the pool, the league that you're in and what the rules are. Usually, yes. But if the tournament starts, usually once the tournament starts, you can't change it. Or some leagues will have you set a backup or an alternate that gets used if your guy withdraws before the end of the first round or something like that. But that's about it. Okay. This is just Nick giving 99 cents. Thank you, Nick. 25-person. Oh, how thick is the rough? It wasn't that thick. Yeah. Now it's Kikuya, right? It's 2-inch Kikuya, which wants to grab your club. But I find that to be a lot harder around the greens than I do on approach shots. Because on approach shots, they're hitting long swings, committed. They're swinging through. You really have to hit committed shots around the green on Kikuya. What?
I just thought of that joke. Kikuya, I barely know that.
Oh boy. 25-person one and done. Used Burns last week. This has got to be a Colin or JT week. If you have to pick between those two, I'd go JT. I don't mind your argument there, Cam Young, especially in a 25-person pool. You can probably make up some ground if you start getting behind. Are we witnessing Charlie Hoffman revival? No. We are witnessing a 47-year-old man who played well at an event that he always plays well at. And I do not think we are seeing a revival. Although I will say, I said that about Camilo Villegas when he finished runner-up and then he won the next week, but I do not. I mean, he loses strokes on approach constantly. He misses more cuts than he makes. He went to Phoenix, the best place on the schedule for him, and played well. Do not color me surprised. My wife says golf is boring, but I told her it's Adam Scott week, and all of a sudden she wants to watch. Can anyone explain? Yeah, I can explain. So Adam Scott has a beautiful golf swing, and she is a lover of fine arts and things of beauty. Oh, wait till she sees Nick Taylor. And Bubba has won this event 3 times. Advantage for lefty? No. Advantage for drivers. Think about who's won this event off the top of my head. Rahm, Homa, Bubba 3 times, Neiman, Adam Scott. There's somebody else I'm missing who's like a great driver. They can all drive the ball. Okay, that's the secret. They all drive the ball. Yeah, baby. Mizuno 223 Pros. That's what I have. Rick, have you seen anything from Netflix Full Swing Season 2? No. Which is surprising. Why haven't I seen anything? They should have sent me some. So I did do. So if you remember last year, I had some voiceover work in the Matt Fitzpatrick episode and maybe 1 or 2 other episodes.
They released the trailer.
I saw the trailer. Yeah. I did about twice as much voiceover work this year, maybe 3 times as much. I did a lot more, but I don't know what's going to make it I don't know what's actually going to make it. I did a lot of Ryder Cup voiceover for Full Swing Season 2, but I don't know what will actually make the cut. Oh, interesting. Hey, Rick, how's your highlight handicapping? You should make a stop in at Dania. Well, I'm not so good at highlight, but I am great at, what's that game we saw? Where they have to tag each other, then get back, and you see it on ESPN Plus all the time, and the teams are like the top, I don't know. There's a game where you got to like tag a guy and then get back, and then they try to tackle you. I'm sick at that. Nah, not chase tag. It's like a team thing. All right. I mean, the reason I'm doing this is because I think I've answered all of these, or at least to say they're good here.
Tell them we'll look into the email stuff.
We'll look into the email stuff. Thanks for telling us. I've talked a lot about Justin Thomas. Thank you for the new course key stats tutorial. Sweet. Best way to assess players who have not played this tournament. Recent form trumps it. I'm not interested in either Nick Dunlap or Grayson Murray for top 10. If you made me pick, it would be Nick Dunlap. Can you touch on why tour events run multiple courses? Excuse me. They do that in times of year where daylight is low, and it's to get a full field in at one single course in a day is difficult. So they split up over multiple courses. They can get everybody in. The other added advantage is you can sell a lot of Pro-Am spots, right? So you've got Pebble Beach does it. You've got American Express, 2 Pro-Ams, right? The Torrey is just easy because, like, hey, they're both on the same property, both next to each other, they're both great golf courses. They do it, get everybody in and out. So I think there's a couple of reasons. All right. We did talk about Adam Schenk. We talked about Hideki. We talked about Højgaard. We did Cantlay versus Morikawa. We did. Google just made a big change to group emails. Oh, great. Stellar. Talked about Max Homa. We talked about Ricky Fowler. Use an eye emoji for golfers being looked at. That's pretty good. I like that. Implement some AI. I don't even know how to do AI. Talked about my betting card. I will take Ryder over Power. And we're at the bottom. All right. Here's what I'll say. Go sign up for rickrungood.com. Go sign up for the splash contests. Go play on Underdog. We've got to support. Go use the Pool Genius tool for your one and done. It's the best. Go sign up for my newsletter. Kabaddi, thank you. Kabaddi. Yes, that's it. That's it. It's on ESPN Plus all the time. It's awesome. I think I'm going to play it. I got to find a league. I love it. So good. All right. You guys rock. I'll see you out there this weekend if you're going to be out there. Happy Valentine's Day to all you lovebirds or you lonely hearts. That's okay. Who cares? Stupid holiday anyway. All right. Best of luck. Bye.